Namaste. Namaste, Geeta ji. So this is your first class, Geeta ji?
This is first time I'm joining.
Okay. So actually we have covered some ground. Have you read Mahabharat before?
I haven't read Mahabharat, just watched this, episode of Mahabharat.
Okay.
And I know, I think everybody knows basic of the Mahabharat.
Of course. Okay.
So other than that, I do read Bhagavad Gita sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's about it. Not too much knowledge of it.
Okay. No, that's not a problem because you're right that Indians, even though they are living in US, are somehow. So it's like it's seeped into our life. We have heard it so many times. So what we have done so far is we have covered some ground in a sense that Devrat, which would later become Bhishm Pitamaha. So his father is Shantanu, and Shantanu went for hunting and he saw this girl called Satyavati. Okay, and Satyavati, and then he proposed to his father, Satyavati's father Dasraj. And then, of course, a lot happened, and Dasraj had Dasraj said that he wanted something for his daughter. He had some conditions, okay, and then Devrat went to meet, and Shantanu could not complete those conditions because it was not in his hands in his hand to do so, because he could not promise the kingdom. It was Devrat's. Right. And so Devrat went to meet Dasraj, and then he agreed to all the conditions that was there. The condition that Satyavati's son would become the king, and she would always be queen mother, and that Devrat would not marry. So later on, it transpired that he would not marry, and so he was called as Bhishm Pitama by his father later on. So we have covered this ground, a little ground, and I'm talking about Mahabharata from the perspective of philosophy as well. What happens? It's not just a story, but it's a Mahabharata that is going on into the life of each of us, right? So what is Satyavati thinking? What is Devrat thinking? What is it that is Shantanu thinking? And we are talking about Mahabharata from that perspective. So I actually started teaching Bhagavad Gita to tell you, but I realized that for Western audience, of course not for Indian audience, but for Western audience, they cannot understand Bhagavad Gita unless they have a context of Mahabharata. It is very important to have the context of Mahabharata, where is Bhagavad Gita coming from, right? Who is Krishna? Who is Arjuna? Who is Draupadi? Who is Bhishm, who is Duryodhan, and all those characters which are there in Mahabharata, they come in Bhagavad Gita as well. So unless one has understood Bhagavad Gita, it is very difficult to Mahabharata. It is very difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita as well. So that's why I started teaching it. So once I finish Mahabharata, then I'll take on Bhagavad Gita as well. Okay. Namaste, everyone. Namaste, Komal. How are you? Traveling again? So driving and
My life
your voice is breaking.
sorry, maybe because I'm driving.
Driving and having a class is not a good idea.
अब वो क्या करूं
Okay.
मिस भी नहीं कर सकते
नहीं नहीं ठीक है, ध्यान रखिए, कोई बात नहीं, जस्ट सुनिए बस, देखिए मत.
हाँ जी हाँ जी
Hey Mark, how are you?
I'm good.
You did
Thank you.
not.
How about you?
I'm good. You did not come to yoga philosophy class this time.
Actually, I thought I had scheduled. When I went to join the class, it was gone. So I guess I didn't schedule it, so I wasn't able to get into it.
Okay, so this time actually I don't know what happened, but I could not record the class, so there is no video as such. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, my intentions were to. I thought I had it scheduled. I know I did, but I don't know what happened.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
So I missed it. You know, totally.
Okay. So let's do Pratyahara first. So Geeta ji, we start class with Pratyahara. So just follow my instructions, and you are good to go. Okay. And Komal ji, you are not supposed to do Pratyahara. So ध्यान रखिए.
जी
चलिए, sit in a comfortable position. Back straight. We'll do it for 10 minutes. Back straight. Body soft. And close your eyes. If you are sitting on a chair, that is all right as well. But make sure that your entire body is soft and comfortable. No need to be stressed out. And keep your eyes closed, and no phones, no mobile phones. You can keep your mobile phones on silent, or you can close it, that's even better. Complete focus on your body, complete focus on yourself to start with. And you are just watching. Just watch. Deep inhalation, deep exhalation. And bring all your focus on the tip of your nostril where your breath is hitting your body, just below the nose, above the upper lip, where the breath is hitting your nostril. And watch the breath, feel the breath there. Feel the breath just below the tip of your nostrils. All your focus. Watch from which nostril the breath is going into your body, air is going into your body. Complete inhalation, complete exhalation. All your breathing is happening from your tummy, not from your chest. So every time you breathe, your tummy is inflating. Every time you breathe out, your tummy is deflating. Always remember that. Complete breathing. And bring your focus on your breathing, on your breath again and again. Always remember, there is nothing to do here but to watch. Watch the breath. just to watch the breath and feel the breath on your body. And even if your thoughts wander, even if you have thoughts, that is also okay. Do not try and remove anything. Do not try and get away from your thoughts. Even welcome your thoughts. Tell them you are also welcome, and then slowly bring your focus back on your breath. Remember, we are doing an experiment. A little understanding is required, that's all. That again and again you are being Sakshi, you are a Drashta, you are watching, you are a watcher, you are not a doer. Even if you are not watching, the breath is happening. The breath is happening on its own. So just a little understanding that I am just a watcher, I am not a doer, I am not the creator of the breath. Even if I do not watch, the breath will happen. So slowly and slowly, all your focus on your breathing. If you cannot focus on your breathing, slightly harder breathing, so you can discern, you can watch the breath, you can feel the breath more. But remember, we are not doing any pranayama, we are just watching the breathing, we are a watcher. And slowly, as you become more and more focused, bring your breath to normal. Once you are aware of your breath, once you feel the breath, just blow your nose where the breath is hitting your body, breath is touching your body. The purpose of pranayama is to be aware, is to be conscious. We are starting with the body and then moving inside. So always remember to watch. Just watch. Try not to move your limbs, not even your hands. Very stable, very quiet. Even if the thoughts are coming, let them come. Even if you feel disturbance, let it be so. Whatever is happening, that is absolutely okay. And you are sitting in the middle of everything, absolutely quiet and peaceful. Even if the peace is not there, you are okay with that. No conflict with anything. Just watch your breath, and slowly bring your breathing to normal. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. Remember, you are not a doer, you are a drashta, you are a watcher, you are a sakshi, you are a witness to whatever is happening. And whatever is happening is good. There is nothing bad, there is nothing good. Everything is all right. Feel the breath just below the tip of your nostrils, where it is hitting your body above the upper lip. Watch from which nostril the breath is entering your body. And stay with your breath. Breath has no past, breath has no future. Breath always is in the present. So watch with equanimity, watch with balance. And now slowly bring focus, all your focus on your head, on the top of your head, on that soft portion, on that portion which is soft when we are born, and watch what is happening there. On the entire body, different kinds of sensations are happening. Sometimes hot, sometimes cold, scratching sensation, crawling sensation, piercing sensation, painful sensation, pleasurable sensation. All kinds of sensation are happening on our body. We involuntarily scratch, we touch, we move our limbs due to those sensations. Watch the sensations on your head. Just watch, do not react, do not raise your hands if the sensation is painful, do not scratch. Just watch the sensations happening on your head and scan your entire head. And even if there is no sensation, that is also okay. Just keep scanning your entire head from left to right, from forward to backward. And watch with equanimity, watch with balance, watch with focus. But even if you are not able to focus, that is also okay. No guilt, absolutely no guilt is there. Whatever is happening is good. Be very stable, very quiet. If you can, keep your back straight. If you cannot, that is also okay. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. And slowly bring your focus on your forehead. Watch your forehead. See what is happening there. Slowly the forehead will unwrinkle. Feel the unwrinkling of the forehead. But even if it do not, that is also okay. Watch the forehead. Slowly move down to your eyes and watch the eyes. Entire day eyes are watching. You are not the eye, now you are watching the eye. There is a difference. Eyes are watching and now you are watching the eyes. Go into your eye socket and feel your eyes, watch your eyes. Slowly the expansion will happen. We keep our body always stressed, always constricted. Feel the eyes, watch the eyes, watch the eyeball moving. I'll move down to your face. Watch your face. Watch the area below the eyes. Watch out for sensations there. Watch the sensations there. Normal sensations, moving sensations, crawling sensations, itching, vibrations. And even if there is no sensation, that is also okay. Stay for a second and then move on to another area. Scan your entire face from the area just below the eyes to your upper nose, to the tip of your nose, to the cheeks, to the chin, to the lips. Watch your lips, watch your ears, watch your entire face. Slowly and slowly your face will relax. You'll feel the sensations on the entire face as you go more and more internal. Remember, there are no expectations, no desires. Even if the stress is there, just watch the stress. You are not demanding to be de-stressed. You are not desiring to be de-stressed. You are just watching the stress. Just watch. You are watching the thoughts when it comes, welcoming it even. And slowly it will recede in the background. You are watching the stress, not desiring to remove it. And slowly it will get removed on its own. Keep some space between your lips and your jaws. Watch your jaws. Some space between your teeth. The entire jaw will slowly relax. Watch your jaw. Even if you are stressed, that is also okay. Keep watching, and it's there. The pain is impermanent, the pleasure is impermanent, and you are above pain and pleasure. You are a joy, you are a ananda, chidananda. Keep watching. Move down to your neck. Watch your neck. Watch your throat. Watch that irritation in the throat. Or scanning your entire body for sensations, watching the sensations. Even the touch of a cloth is also a sensation. Touch of the air is also a sensation. Hot sensation, cold sensation, crawling sensation, itching sensations. Do not stay for longer if the sensations are pleasurable. Do not try and run away if the sensations are painful. Just watch, just watch and move down to your right shoulder and watch your right shoulder. Scan your entire right arm from your right shoulder to the upper right arm, to the elbow, to the lower right arm, to the tip of your fingers and the thumb or palm. Watch. Scan your entire hand, your arm. If there are no sensations, move down to another area. Do not try and create the new sensations. You are not the creator. You are just a drashta. Move to your left shoulder and watch your left shoulder. See what is happening there. Watch the sensations on your left shoulder. Slowly the shoulder will drop a little. The body will relax a little. But even if it doesn't, that is also okay. And move down to your left upper arm. Watch to your elbow, to the left lower arm, to your palm, each and every finger you are watching, scanning the entire body. All the sanskaras that are there in the form of sensations you are watching. And now bring all your focus on your chest and watch your chest. Watch the thumping in your chest. Great focus and concentration. Watch the thumping. Each breath, watch as you get more and more internal. As you watch, the thumping will get slower and slower. The breath will get deeper and longer. Shallow breath is the mark of a sickness. Watch. And now move down to your tummy and watch your tummy. Move down to your groin and watch your groin. Watch the lower part of your body for all kinds of sensation. And even if there are no sensations, that is also okay. Keep watching and remember, even if the pain is there, even if the sensations are too powerful, just have a little understanding. Everything is impermanent, anitya. Watch the feeling of impermanence. You are just a watcher. Watch the pain, watch the pleasure, watch the night, watch the day, watch the good, watch the bad. And now bring all your focus on your right thigh and watch your right thigh. Scan your entire right thigh and watch your entire right leg from your thigh to your knee to your calf area to your heels and to the tip of your fingers and a big toe. Watch. Keep watching, keep watching, keep watching. And now bring your focus on your left thigh and watch your left thigh. Watch the sensations there and scan your entire left leg. And now join your palm in Namaskar Mudra. Get ready for Om chanting. Inhale deeply and chant Om. Do it 3 times. Feel the vibrations. And now rub your palms. Place your palms on your eyes. Feel the warmth. Massage your face slightly. Namaskar and welcome to Yoga Philosophy class. Open your eyes. Okay. So, any questions are there? If any question is there, anything that is not making sense, or if something that someone has not understood, any character, or if you are missing out something, please ask. Um, so if you remember, we are talking about um, Satyavati, and she was talking about how her son or her sons will be educated. And she had a very different idea of education. In those ancient times, the education used to happen in gurukuls, the ashrams. And these ashrams were developed, the entire system of education was developed over a very long period of time. But Satyavati did not want to send her son to ashram, and so King Shantanu was really surprised that why is it so, because it was really a good system. All the princes were educated in these ashrams, and she wanted her son to be educated in the palace. So he asked, why do you want your son to be educated in the palace? And she said, because I don't want my son to go to ashram. I don't want my son to feel as if he is lower, because in the ashram, guru is the supreme. All disciples are equal in the eyes of gurus, whether a disciple is a common subject or whether he is a prince or whatever he is, whether they are rich or poor, all were equal in the eyes of guru in the ashram. But Satyavati wanted her son to feel that power of being a Yuvraj, the prince. She did not want her son to feel as if he was nothing. So it was a very different kind of education Satyavati was trying to give. Satyavati was in fact making sure that his son would become the next king. So, as I said before as well, she was even unknowingly creating the ground for Mahabharata. The ground was being created there. Because when this happens, when the power is there and a prince feels the power, even as a king, he would feel the same. He would not understand the humility, the humbleness of a king. And so here was Bhishma, and a huge void was looking down upon Bhishma. He was into his own. He had gone through so much in the last few years. Everywhere his sacrifice was being talked about. Of course, it was a very big wow, very big sacrifice that he had done, and everybody was talking about it. No one had taken such a huge wow, huge promise. Bhagwan Ram, Prabhu Ram, Lord Ram had left the kingdom for 14 years, if you all remember. And he had left the kingdom for the happiness of his father or for whatever his father had said. And because of this sacrifice, he had become an avatar. But he did return, and he then became the king. But for Bhishma, this was an impossibility because he had taken a vow never to become a king. So his vow was even a bigger vow. His promise was even a bigger promise. His sacrifice was even a bigger sacrifice. He would never become a king. He would not marry. He would live the life. What kind of a life it is? So Bhishma would never leave, would never have the kingdom. And not just the kingdom, but the family as well. He would never marry. So it was no small feat, and his mind was again and again going back to that. But still, he was not very happy. Once you have made such a sacrifice and everybody is talking about it, sometimes that ego comes in, sometimes that ahankar comes in. But he was still not happy, and the hollowness was there, the void was there. And he was not able to understand why the void is there. Because normally a person feels the fulfillment. Whenever you achieve something, you feel that fulfillment. That is the reason we achieve something. We do not feel the hollowness in the void. Because the void, the zero, the hollowness, and achievement do not go together. That is the normal thinking. That is what we think. And that is why we run after one achievement after another. It never stops. So Bhishma was thinking whether he was guilty. So he was doing self analysis all the time and he was searching inside himself. But no, there was not a shred of guilt and doubt. The vow he had made was not done in a haste. Because sometimes it is so that somebody is talking and you make a promises. We all make promises all the time. Every day we make promises, every day we break those promises. That's how the life is. The Mahabharata is going into each and every one of our lives all the time. So he was thinking whether he had done this in a haste, and it was not done in a haste and emotion. Emotion so that he would repent later on. It was not like that. And if at all the similar situation had to rise again, he would do the same. He would take the same step. So there was no going back on this. This sacrifice and vow has brought his personality to a totally different level. And this was not the ego. But yes, he was thinking. Just hold on for a second. Hello. विवेक मेरी क्लास है दीपाली है दीपाली गई है ओ so the sacrifice did make his personality broader because yesterday he was respected because he was a prince and princes of course are respected but today he was even respected more not just by the subject normal people respect the prince but he was respected even by the elders by the rishis by the ministers by everybody he had gone to that level. It was as if he was thinking the life meaning is lost. Everything seems to be futile now. Now, this is another problem of the achievement. What do you do once you've achieved something? The achievement gives you, the sense of achievement gives you something, but it also makes the life futile. It brings the void in. And so it was happening with Bhishma. A long age is ahead of Bhishma because if you remember what did his father say? His father said, "You have a death of your wish, ichha mrityu. That is, you will die when you want to die." So he has a long age ahead of him, and what to do in that age because now there is no kingdom to look after. Now there is no family to look after, and our entire life depends around revolves around this, around our jobs. If you call that a kingdom in these days, today in modern times, the family, the work, the relatives, the siblings, the sons and daughters, our life revolves around, most of the time it is around the family. But now for that beast, that possibility was also gone. So why this age? What is the need of this age? Why does he need such a long age? The Vedic and ancient rishis used to live for hundreds of years. But what does Bhishma has to do living like that? Live that longer. Why? For sacrifice? For security of the kingdom? Or for personal development? What is the reason now? Everything was so hazy, and so many thoughts keep coming into his mind. Because now Bhishma had no desires. He has no desire. And he has no attachment for anything. All the attachments are now gone. All the deep attachments, all the female pleasures he has sacrificed. All the material pleasure he has sacrificed. Now, why would the Bhishma need money? Why would he need luxury? Why would he need palaces? Why would he need the ornaments? Why would he need the land? There is no use of any of those things for what and whom. The way we live for ourselves, and then later on, when we are nearing the death, we want to live through our kids, our sons and daughters. We want to live through them. But for Bhishma, there is nothing to live. Someone who has left this entire kingdom, what is the meaning of the property? And suddenly for Bhishma, the entire world contracted. This kingdom is not his. He is not the prince that people has, and now he has no rights. He has no rights and he has no responsibilities as well. Now nobody is expecting anything from anything from Bhishma. There is no justice to be meted out. There are no people to meet. There are no decisions to be done. What do you do when you have such a life? This is the life of rishis. This is not the normal life. So Bhishma was not able to understand what all achievements, what all material thing does is destroy, weaken the body, then why does a man do them? See, this is what is the normal. We are running towards the attachment, and eventually the attachment destroys us. We are running towards the material things, and eventually the material things destroys us. So there, these two things goes hand in hand. The development and destruction goes hand in hand. We do not understand when everything needs to be sacrificed. Eventually, why do we have them? It is like make to give. We make to give. We annex to sacrifice. What kind of logic is this? We live exactly opposite to our final goal. What does nature want from us? What is this that the nature want from us? We take birth, we are born, we fall in attachment, and we fall in greed, and we develop ourselves over a period of time and suddenly realize that everything is so impermanent. Everything is so impermanent. The things are impermanent, the relations are impermanent, the people are impermanent. Suddenly we have been doing it for such a long time, and now everything seems to be like that. There is nothing is permanent in this world. At least not something that we have realized so far. So slowly and slowly things are losing their meaning for him. The land doesn't hold, eyes doesn't see, hands doesn't hold, eyes doesn't see, nose doesn't smell, and skin doesn't feel. It is as if all the senses are getting number and number, duller and duller. This is what is happening to all of us as well. And then the next birth is nearby, the death is nearby. And this game goes on and on. The Mahabharat was not there 5,000 years back. It is still going on with each and every one of us. But this game cannot go for Bhishm as Bhishm is thinking. This game cannot go. This goes for the normal people, for all of us. But this game cannot go for Bhishma. Bhishma will have no child. And there won't be any rebirth for somebody who has a Ichha Mrityu. That is a death of his own wanting. This cannot happen. What is the meaning of rebirth then? What is that Bhishma actually want to do? What needs to happen through him? Now, what is the nature's call for him? What is it that nature wants from him now? Everything is gone. There is no meaning of this body. There is no meaning of this life. And suicide is evil thought because this body has to go on. Bhishma is not one who has to do suicide. He cannot do it. This body has to go on. So these all thoughts are coming to Bhishma because his life was turned upside down. Whether by sacrifice, whether by Shantanu or Satyavati or Dasraj, it was going on like that. Meanwhile, Shantanu returned to the palace in the evening and went to Satyavati's chambers. And he asked Satyavati, "How are you?" And Satyavati asked back, "How are you?" "Very busy day," he said. Bhishmi used to take a great care of the work. He used to take care of a lot of the work, but now it seems as if he's not, he's just reading, he's just writing, he's just thinking. Chintan Manan. And I can't blame him as well. He is no more a prince. So he is not required to do all this. It is as if I've snatched it from him, snatched it all away from him. So why would he do the administrative work? Those days also, the administration was there, the work was there, normal functioning was there. And Satyavati felt the pain in his voice. Because at the end of the day, Satyavati or Dasraj was to blame for this. And so Satyavati was very aggressive when she said this. "Don't tell me this. It is not me who did this, he himself did this. I did not force him, my father did not force him." Well, that's what the thought was. And then again, Shantanu went on to the defensive. "No, I am not blaming you as usual. I understand what you are trying to do," Satyavati said. "You are trying to make me feel so that I feel guilty, and I call him and I tell him that I free you of all your vows and sacrifices. You are trying to do that," Satyavati said to Shantanu. See, Satyavati had grown a lot over a period of time. It was as if she was like She had found a place in the palace. And she was now no more a poor girl that came from the boatman's family. She had become even more manipulative and Machiavellian and whatever than the normal person is. So Shantanu laughed, but it seems his laugh was hollow and without joy. When he said, "To keep you away from such circumstances," Bhishm was not coming to Satyavati's chambers. Normally he would not come. So Shantanu said, "To keep you away from such circumstances, lest you say to Bhishma that I clear you of your vows." So Shantanu said, "Bhishma does not come to your chambers." And these days he is involved, he is very busy in reading and writing and all of that. Then Satyavati retorted and said, "No, he is not. He is not involved in any reading and writing. In fact, he came here today. In fact, before this, Bhishma did come to Satyavati's chamber because he thought, let's meet mother. And because that's how he saw Satyavati. So for him, Satyavati was mother. Stepmother, of course, but mother. And so before this episode, he went to Satyavati's chambers to meet Satyavati, to meet a mother, because everybody wants to meet the mother. But when he reached to Satyavati's chamber and wanted to meet her, the servant said that he asked the servant to tell Satyavati that I want to meet my mother. And so servant went inside and she asked Satyavati, and Satyavati denied that I don't want to meet him. And so Bhishma had to return without meeting his mother. And that was also the thought that was coming to Bhishma's mind. Why did the mother did not meet me? So anyway, when Satyavati said that he came here to meet me, Shantanu was surprised. What did he say? And Satyavati said, I did not see him. And why did you not see him? Shantanu asked. My wish. And in the future as well, I will not see him, Satyavati said. Please ask him not to come to my palace. So see, what is this? Satyavati personality is unfolding. So Shantanu looked at Satyavati. He kind of controlled him and said, I will tell him. But can I ask, what is his mistake? Why do you not want to see him? What he has done? And Satyavati said, I don't care about mistakes. And there is nothing to discuss here. I simply don't want to meet him. And one more thing, declare my son Chitraganda prince. The entire subject, the entire people, the entire citizens. And in fact, Bhisma should also see who is the prince of Hastinapur. So see how the politics is unfolding here. She wants to make sure right now and then, because the son was born, his name was Chitrangad. So this is how the politics is unfolding. And now she wants to make sure, because Chitrangad was just 9 years old. So she wants to make sure that he is declared a prince. There was no need because he was very small. Normally, a king would declare a prince because as the age is there and then the training is there and all that is there. But she wanted to do so because she wanted to make sure that nobody else can become, or at least Bhishma cannot become the prince. So Shantanu was lost in thought, and suddenly he came out of his trance and said in a weak voice, I will do as you ask. Shantanu was aghast to, he was kind of, uh, he had declined himself to all of this. There was nothing else to do here. So whatever Satyavati was saying, because it had transpired like this, now he had to complete it. So, another episode comes up. Shantanu is listening to the normal news of the kingdom. The messengers are coming from different part of the kingdom, different places, and then telling the news of the entire, because it was it was a very big, huge kingdom. And so there was a lot of work, a lot of things were happening. And there was nothing extraordinary in the news. Some news was about neighboring kingdoms doing people doing this and that. Some about the citizens of Hastinapur, and some about the armies and their leaders and all of that. So normal news that a city would have. But one messenger was standing next to Shantanu and not saying anything. He had folded his hands. And so Shantanu was listening, but suddenly his attention went to this messenger because he was not saying something. So he asked, "What is it?" He said, "King, I am in dilemma. Maharaj, I am in dilemma. This news does not seem as if I need to give it to you. This is not a very important news, but I have to tell you as well because I don't know what happens. It may have the connotations in the future." So Shantanu thought what it is that he wants to say, yet he is afraid to say it. So he said to the messenger, "Don't be afraid, just say." Maharaj, messenger said, "O king, we are not employed to keep an eye on the royal people. And this was also not my intention, but something came to my attention, and that's why I'm telling you this. I want to say you this." And so he is very cagey, he is very cautious. Lest king becomes angry, who knows, kings become angry and chop the head off. Kings are like that. Kings were like that even in the ancient times. So he was very cautious. And Shantanu lost deep in the thought and asked, and then he went somewhere, what is this news he's talking about? And a lot of thoughts came to his mind. And eventually he asked, did someone did something wrong? The, the royal people. So he said, the messenger said, "I would not call it wrong, but in the future this may have an impact. In the future, there may be some kind of disturbance because of this that I'm talking about. And I think, in my opinion, it needs to stop." So Shantanu eventually asked, "What is this that you cannot be called as wrong, and but it may lead to disturbance later on? So please tell me clearly. This is my order to you," because he was not being clear. "Maharaj, Prince Bhishm has constructed a small cottage on the banks of river Ganges, and he spent his entire time, most of the time at least." So Shantanu wanted to say, Bhishma can build anything he wants to. The entire kingdom is his. He can build palaces, he can build cities, he can build anything he wants to, but then suddenly he remembered Satyavati. He cannot say that. So he was kind of thinking that this messenger is speaking from, Satyavati's. Is this voice not the messenger's voice, but Satyavati's voice, and blaming Bhishma about taking the small piece of land and building a cottage there, a small cottage, very small cottage, nothing big, no palace, but even that small cottage, because now Chitrangad would be the prince, so a small cottage would be built on his land. But he did not say anything of that. The thoughts were coming to his mind, so he said, "The act is not wrong." So was he referring to the possible conflict between him and Chitrangad? Was this happening into his mind? But eventually Shantanu said, what does he do in the cottage? That is what is important. What is the cottage used for? And so messenger said he mostly do meditation there. He mostly does thinking there. He's not doing much there. And suddenly Shantanu was very alert. Meditation on the banks of river Ganges. Is Bhishma thinking of becoming a sannyasi, a monk, Vanaprasthashram? Is Bhishma thinking of going to Vanaprasthashram? Vanaprasth is it's a kind of, so in India we have had different ashrams, as most of you must be knowing it. The Brahmacharya ashram, where you go and study in Gurukuls and ashrams, that is Brahmacharya ashram. And then there is a Grahastha ashram. That is, you complete your, your familial duties. You have a wife, you have kids, and you earn, and all of those is there. That is the Grahastha ashram. And then the third thing is Vanaprastha ashram. Vanaprasth is when you are preparing to go into sannyas. So he was alert. Suddenly Shantanu was alert. Is Bhishma trying to go to Vanaprastha ashram? The fourth ashram actually is the sannyas. where you go to the forest and live in the forest. So in the ancient time, people used to do that. People used to complete their education in Brahmacharya ashram. Then they come to the Grahast ashram where they have wife and kids, complete and then earn money. And then they went on to become aloof and go to Vanaprastha ashram. And then eventually sannyas where they will go to jungles and all of those. So these four periods were there in every person's life in the ancient time. Now everything has changed. So we don't have these ashrams and all that. So now, what alerted him is he's thinking, is Bhishma thinking of one prasthashram? It's a big news. Is Bhishma thinking of sannyas? Is he trying to be a monk? And then he thought, what what would happen if I ask Bhishma of all of this? Bhishma would say, my brahmacharya is over. I have taken my education, my gurukuls and my ashrams are over. The education is completely over. So brahmacharya ashram is over. Grahast ashram is yet to come and it will never come. There won't be any Grahast ashram. Grahast is familial, where you marry, you have a family, and all of those tasks to perform. So Bhishma will never have that period, family period. He will never marry. So Grahast ashram is not a possibility for Bhishma. So from Brahmacharya ashram, Bhishma would say, I am directly going to Vanaprastha ashram. So he was thinking, what would happen if I ask Bhishma this? There is no present for Bhishma. There is no present. What to do in the present? So is Bhishma thinking about the future then? And with all of these thoughts, Shantanu mind just got very restless. And he stopped the day's work there and then he asked his ministers to call the chariot and to retire to the palace. And the servants hailed the chariot and he sat in the chariot and asked it to be taken to Satyavati's palace, his wife's palace. And when he reached there, Satyavati asked whether he got the news. Oh, what news? Shantanu said, what news? And Shantanu's mind was again going back to the same thing. Is the news about the cottage that Bhishma has built on the river Ganges? Is this the news that has reached Satyavati, or what is he talking about? And so Satyavati said, did Minister Vishnu that said nothing to you? Because in the morning, Prince Chitrangad went for a walk. See, now she herself is putting the word prince. She wants to make sure that her son become the prince. So she said, Prince Chitrangad went for a walk, went for the morning walk in the chariot. And when he reached the royal garden, he asked the chariot to take the chariot inside. He asked the charioteer to take the chariot inside the garden. But the charioteer refused and said, this is only for the people who walk. You cannot take the chariot inside. I cannot take the chariot inside. And so Chitrangad said, no, you have to. I am a prince. I am the royal blood. You have to do this. And he refused. The charioteer refused. And so he became very angry with the charioteer and started beating the charioteer and flogging the charioteer. And then, while he was doing so, Minister Vishnu Gupta, came there. And he asked, what is happening here? Why are you beating him? And he said, this is what has happened. He does not listen to me. He is not taking chariot inside the garden. So he was thinking that Vishnu would take his side because he's the prince. And Vishnu said, charioteer is right. The chariot cannot go inside the garden. That is what is the rule. And he even cannot break the rule. And prince was aghast because the ego was there. Ego of the prince was there. But Vishnu was a very aged counselor, a minister, very near to the king. So he did not start flogging the minister, but he slapped the minister. See now here the making of a king, what is happening here. So this episode she narrated to Shantanu, and Shantanu said, and she was actually, I think in the mind, she was actually thinking that Shantanu would take the side of a prince, because prince can do anything. In the ancient times, even today's time, I think they can do anything. But so in the old time, so she was kind of wanting to, take the acceptance of Shantanu. But Shantanu said it was wrong of Prince to have done this. It is a mistake that Prince has done. It is a mistake of a prince and not charioteer or Vishnugupta. Prince should know, Prince should learn to live in his boundaries. It is not as if the rules don't exist for Prince. In fact, the rules exist more for them because they have to follow it more than anybody else. If they don't follow, then nobody will follow them. The responsibilities of a prince or a king is more. And and with this, he walked out of Satyavati's chamber, and Satyavati was just looking at him. She was expecting something else, and she got something else. So here, this is the conflict between a king and a queen is going on. Conflict between Shantanu and Satyavati is going on. The entire household, the entire royal household, is not just one family, but there are pieces there. And what would these pieces lead to? Because as we can see the dots, how the dots are connected, the dots can, because you cannot see going further, you can only see when you see the back. So here the turf for the eventual war of Mahabharata is being prepared, and King and Queen Satyavati is the major reason for this. Or maybe we can say Shantanu, we don't know. I mean, we can think of it because Shantanu is the one who brought Satyavati. His lust brought Satyavati into the palace, otherwise Satyavati would not have been there, and he was an old person. So whether it was lust or whether it was ambition, we don't know. We can just guess, or maybe everything is there. And that is how we live. I'll stop here today. Please feel free to ask anything you want to ask, any questions, anything that you have not understood, any context, if there's any loose context here and there, loose, you know, if there's anything lost, any meaning is lost, please feel free to ask. This is a story, so of course it's being said from that context. So we can only imagine from our own point of view what happened, and everybody can have different point of view. But we all know that what happened eventually. Nothing happens in nothing happens in a zippy suddenly. People prepare the things to happen even if unknowingly so. When we have lust, when we have ambitions, every time we have ambitions, we are preparing for something which will happen. The nature does not want ambition. The nature says, I have given you plenty. Ambition is a greed. But in today's time, it is not. In today's time, the schools, the colleges, they teach people to be ambitious. And when we are ambitious, then what will ambition lead to? We all know. What is the ambition leading to these days? The wars are there, the society is being divided. I was reading somewhere that 16% of the entire wealth of this world is into is into uh, resides into few countries of Europe. And I was reading somewhere that more than 90% of wealth reside with less than 5% of, I think, 10% people, something like that was there. All ambitions are there. People create gigantic corporations, and then the eventual control is there. And then the conflict is there. Though nature has not created it like that, nature has created a bounty for everybody. Nature has, as Mahatma Gandhi used to say, nature can meet your need but not your greed. Your needs will be met because body needs so little. We have a piece of bread or a two piece of bread and we are good for the day. We have certain we have few clothes to wear and we are good. We don't need much. We don't need an entire shelf and few shelves of clothing. We don't need that. We don't need to stock our fridges and our houses with the things. We don't need that. But ambition is there. We don't need $1 million salary. We don't need it actually. When we say that, you know, somewhere rape has happened, the moment you have ambition, you have started raping this earth. The rape is beginning to happen. When you asked for a car, it means your rape of the environment is beginning to happen. When you have ambition, it has started. We define rape in a very constricted manner. We are raping the rivers, we are raping the earth, we are raping the land, we are cutting off trees, we are raping the environment. All of this starts with an ambition. So this is so. Any questions? If there is any question, any comment, any questions, feel free to ask. But see see, even with all these ambitions, we do not feel the fulfillment. That is what is the problem. Even with even with us having so much, we have so much. We have more than we need, each and every one of us. Still, we don't feel fulfilled. Still, we don't feel complete. Isn't this ironic?
Because the definition of success is wrong. People define success with the money, basically. If you're earning well, you're making more money, you are, whatever. Eventually, it is connected to your job and money and, the kind of house and car you have. But that's not success. People say, oh, about like nowadays, we are in that age, people talk about kids, right? Oh, kids are successful because they've got a good job, right? But what about the other things in life, right? So it's they are successful. It's okay. At a certain age, we are talking about that, but if you do not have a love life, if you do not have, there are so many aspects to life. That's just money part is not success. That's why we are just running, and money is just number. We are just running after it. Numbers never end. So that's why that success thing never ends. So we are ambitions never end. That's why.
So, and in the end, then we feel as if nothing has happened, as if all of it was so futile, as if now I'm standing near my death and I could have done things differently. As if the
Right.
fulfillment has not been given to me even after so much wealth, so much comfort, so much love, even. The fulfillment is still not there. So it is so strange. Yet this happens
But
again.
how can we have not ambitions, and how can we practice not to be, you know, even whatever you have. Sometimes you feel like you don't need those things, but because of the ambitions, you want to have and you want to have more and more. How can we practice not to have ambition? How can we practice that?
Okay, so we can do that. See, first of all, we have to understand where is all this coming from, right? Where is all this coming from? If we can see the source of it, we know that why is it happening. All of our ambitions are coming from our past. What is the past? The past, you were raised by your family, parents, then you went to schools, and then went to universities, and then you were living with your siblings, your relatives, your cousins, and everybody is saying, oh, you have to be that, you have to be the prime minister, you have to be the president, you have to be the CEO, you have to be this. Schools teach you this, your family teach you this, your surroundings teach you this. So all your perception, all your ambitions, everything comes from your past. For example, think about this. Had you been raised in a jungle by some jackals, there are stories like that. Would you have the ambition to become a prime minister? I want to be the prime minister of a jungle. Probably not, mostly not, right? But so all the ambitions are coming from the past, and whatever is coming from the past naturally has to go to the future, because you cannot complete all your ambitions of the past into the present. So your future is linked to your past, or your past is linked to your future, right? This is how we have been raised. You have to understand that. This is how we have been brainwashed. So all of it is happening from the future. So what to do now? Because this has to live in us. It is in us. All the thoughts are there. So yoga shachit vrati nirodh. Yoga is a condition of no mind. As long as the mind is there, the ambition will live in you. So what does yoga do? Yoga says, yoga shachit prati nirodh. Let there be no mind. If the mind is not there, the thoughts are not there. If the thoughts are not there, the past is not there, and the future is not there. So you are living in the present. That is what pratyahara is. That is what the dimension of yoga is. Where yoga, but then it cannot happen if you want it to happen. It cannot happen if you try to control it. It has to happen very naturally, right? For example, if you are keeping a fast, the day you keep a fast, you remember all kinds of food. Otherwise, you take a few chapatis or you take a piece of bread and you are good for a few hours. You won't remember the food. You don't recall the food. But the day you are having a fast, you recall the food more, because you are trying to control your body, not to eat something. So as long as the control is there, the problem is there. So it has to happen gradually, and that is why the meditation is there. Meditation makes it happen very naturally, as if you are seeped into it. It will happen. You cannot make it happen. Don't think you can ever make it happen. Don't think you can ever let go of your emotions. That is again you. That is your ego that is saying that now I want to let go of my ambitions. I am still there. Yoga says you have to let go of yourself, because right now you are thoughts. Right now we are all thoughts. We are not us. Who are we? We are the product of our past. We are the product of all the thoughts that has been infused into all of us. And who am I? I am something else. I am not the product of my past. I am not the thoughts that has been put into me. I am not that. All the thoughts come from your past. All the answers that you give comes from your past. Whenever somebody asks you a question, you go into your past, see what is the answer, and then give it. But Buddha would not do that. Buddha would only give the answer what is coming right now. He is into the present. So you have to be into the present. And what is it? It is just meditation. Just one word. And the meditation will happen naturally. As I always say, Gita, the first four limbs of Ashtanga Yoga, Yam, Niyam, Asana, and Pranayam, is external. You do it on your body. Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi is internal. You cannot do it. This is not in your power to do it. It only happens. So slowly and slowly, as you go into meditation, your past will get away from you. You will be detached from the past. And once you are detached from the past, all the preconceived notions of the past will go away. All the preferences and prejudices of the past will go away. And if your connection with the past is broken, your connection with future will also break. Because past and future are linked. And then you are in the present. And in the present, it's all joy, it's all ananda. Then there are no preconceived notions. Then there is no ambition. Whatever is happening is happening. I'm not saying you are not doing a job. I'm not saying you will not eat. I'm not saying you will not walk. I'm not saying you will go to Himalayas. It is not like that. But wherever you are completely satisfied. You are completely fulfilled. And the person who is fulfilled does not require anything. The existence is giving him for his needs, and that's all it is. That's all there is. It's not the job is good. The jobs are going on. The married life is going on. Everything is going on as usual. But now you are completely satisfied. So there is no decisions to be taken. You are completely at peace with yourself. That is what is there. It's not going to Himalayas. Remember that. I'm not asking you to be a sannyasi, a monk, to be in the present always. You can be. Everybody can be in the present always. In fact, on the contrary, your life improves. Because right now, if I'm talking to someone, he is not able to gauge who am I because I am into so many different directions. I am talking to you and so many thoughts are coming into my mind. Everybody does that. So I am not actually listening to you when you are saying something. When you start to say something, I am running in here and there. My entire focus is here and there. We are not listening. Once you become meditative, then you listen, and then your connection with the people is also established. Right now, there is no connection with anybody. The connection is all broken. All broken connections are there. My wife is saying something and I'm not listening to her. My daughter is saying something, I'm not listening to her. My boss is saying something, I'm not listening to. I'm going somewhere else. And so there is no connection with people. Once you are into meditation, all the connections are there. And so you become a better team worker, you become a better husband, you become a better wife, you become a better mother as well. And if this happens, of course, the material life is also improved, though that is not the purpose. I always say that is not the purpose, but it happens. तेन तक्तेन भुंजिता तेन तक्तेन भुंजिता sutra of Ishavasya Upanishad तेन तक्तेन भुंजिता. The sutra says one who has left will get more. That is not the purpose, but one who has left, जिसने त्यागा उसने पाया. One who has left get it all. See how ironical it is, how paradoxical it is, but this is what it is. And we are always running, and that's why we do not get it. Tena taktena bhunjita. Always remember that. Tena taktena bhunjita. Isha vasya idam sarvam. Isha vasya idam sarvam. Tena taktena bhunjita. It says, leave
Can we have
everything to
a
God. Huh?
sorry?
I think this
I
is
said, can we have a third class as well in the week on Ishavasya Upanishads now?
yeah, it's a good Upanishad. So there are only 12 sutras, so we can have, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We can have few classes just on Isha vasya. Isha vasya is one of my favorite Upanishad actually. Ishavasya idam sarvam sarvakincham jagatyam jagat. Leave everything to me and become free. Such a thing, such a nice announcement. Tena taktena bhunjita. Yes, we'll have it. It's a very small Upanishad, so I can complete in. So I'm actually thinking because Mahabharata is such a long epic, I don't think it will get completed. In a little time. Though I'm trying to do it, trying to make it fast. But we can start. We'll start before so
Instead
Ishavasya
of
Upanishad I
going
can
to the
complete in
whole
few classes.
detail on Mahabharata, if you can just like get the essence of it, but like part of it,
You're
because if
right.
you go to the story, it's a big one.
I know. I'm studying
Right.
that.
So if you can just take it, like like what we talked today, what's in there.
Okay.
Like if we talk about Gita, the same as with the same theme, you can do Mahabharata with that thing.
So actually, Kiran, this is what actually I'm doing. I'm trying to talk why Mahabharata even took place. Why? Because then you have to understand Shantanu, you have to
So
understand
Deep Ji will
Satyavati.
get a big bonus because MIT is going to make so much money because we will stay for years and years and years with MIT.
No bonus is there. Don't worry about that.
He doesn't care about bonus. He's satisfied. It's us, right? I'm us. Not. It's not us. Him. It's us. Annual membership because Sandeep ji ki class hai. I'm here for this class only now. I don't do any asanas and this and that.
I don't know if even whether I'm getting paid or not. The classes are so the payment is not a. Not
That's what he's already satisfied. He gets a good satisfaction out of it. How much we are enjoying and we're still there.
Absolutely.
It's more that for him than this is how I'm feeling it. This is my perspective. I could I also tend to agree with what Kiranji is saying, only because most of us in this call are Indians and we know Mahabharata. I mean, the story is pretty prevalent among Indians. I'm not sure how much Mark knows. I don't know if he's still there, but no, he left. Yeah, he's the only one who may or may not know about it.
No,
But
you are right. Actually,
substituting this with Upanishads or giving the essence of Mahabharata might be a better.
So let me do one thing. Let me try to truncate it a little bit because I thought, Western audience, because I started teaching Bhagavad Gita, if Pia would know. And then I realized that there were few, Western audience, few white people as well. And then I realized that how would they get to know Bhagavad Gita if they don't understand Mahabharata? So I decided to do it. But as I'm, looking at you guys, so we are all, there are hardly any Western, those.
Right.
But actually, on the contrary, I never knew about these finer details about this dialogue and that happened and about the cottage and she refusing to see him. I mean, I did not know any of this. And it is so interesting because these are the subtle, these dialogues, they show our emotions at the most like deepest and subtlest level, like him, and how they stand true to time 5,000 years ago and today. It's just amazing. And so for me it's a learning experience. I will go with however the class goes, but I am really enjoying it.
See, you cannot.
Yes.
We have heard of Duryodhana and we have heard of Draupadi, but Mahabharata did not happen because of Duryodhana and Draupadi. That's
exactly
what we think. That's what the notion is, and that's a wrong notion. See, here the turf of Mahabharata has begun with Satyavati.
Mahabharata all written by Krishna. He did all this, created all this. He was the most best politician in the world. I would say that Krishna was the most biggest politician you will ever find. That's Krishna. He created that Mahabharata to unite India, make Akhand Bharat.
Okay. Yes, created everything.
And I came to know the story about what you're telling now through B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, because he started off with
that B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata is like it's a very different version of Mahabharata. It's because that's how the TV series are. They glamorize it and they do all kind of
glamorize, and plus it makes it very black and white.
Yeah, they
even and as you tell it, there is no black and white element in there. It's every shade except black and white.
In fact, when you will come to the Ravana's part, you will really enjoy it because you will see Ravan from a different angle as well.
I would love to hear that one because he is painted so black, and I refuse somehow inside of me. I refuse to believe that he is so black. I mean, of course, it had to be that way because otherwise there would be no Ramayana. But that is. If you really read the Ramayana, he's not that black either. Yeah, really understand.
You guys mean the term dark, not black.
Yeah, dark. Let's say use dark. Right.
No,
he
understood this, that there is no dark. There's nothing dark and there's nothing light. There's no light and there's no darkness. It's all it's all the creation. Then you really understood it. So because that is what is the real understanding.
A very young writer has written a book, which I got to read about a year and a half ago, from a very, very different perspective of Kakari, and it is an amazing read. I know I'm burning holes with my comments here, but I enjoyed the book so much. She has been painted as a very, very smart, intelligent, and nice, positive character. And it's almost like kind of a war between gods and humans, which we see a lot in the Greek literature. It's almost written like that, and how the book says is how gods have an upper hand just because they're gods. and they treat the humans, mortals, as a very in unfair way, and that's how Kake feels. And very, very, very interesting read if somebody is interested. Um, Even though it's of course a novel, it's not true sense of the word, a literary literature, but very, very interesting read.
Nice.
So you are to talk about the preconceived notions from the past. I think I dropped that when I'm reading.
It will eventually happen if you are into pratyahara and meditation for a long time. See, automatically the past will go away. Automatically the thoughts will go away. It will happen. That's how it is.
Then
So,
another comment that I would like to make is that we even you have mentioned that humans are the most evolved creatures, but then if our brains are so evolved, so advanced, then we should be at the bottom of this chain, because more evolved the brain, the more thoughts, and then more all this thing that we spoke about comes into the play.
that's a good thinking, Komal. But see, we have been given what I call as both. Whether we use it or not is another matter, right? What we are doing is, instead of using that both, that understanding, that wisdom, we are trying to develop ourselves in a totally different ways. Right? We have developed ambition. We have developed all those, all those things that we should not have. Our rishis developed that both, that wisdom, little wisdom, but we have not developed it. The way you see we have matured is not what it should have been. Probably maybe 1,000 years down the line, maybe 500 years down the line, who knows? We will develop this part of our knowledge as well. So far, we have developed the science. Slowly and slowly, science is getting towards that. If you go 500 years back, science used to say that we are all matter, but now science says no matter is there, energy is there. Whereas spirituality or the wisdom or the adhyatma said it long back. So as we progresses further, maybe we will reach that both the wisdom, and then we would say that okay, what we did was wrong. Right now, the time, because and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it takes maybe it will take 100,000 years, maybe it'll take 50,000 years. Universe doesn't care. Existence doesn't care. For existence, everything is okay. For existence, the birth is okay, the death is okay. For existence, the destruction is okay, the creation is okay. For existence, it is all okay. For existence, we are nothing. So existence doesn't care whether we are destroying or whether we are creating. This is just a game for existence. It is not a game for us, but it is for existence. So it is okay. Existence is this, like this. Even in the destruction, that is also okay for existence. The earth has been destroyed so many times, as the science tells us, and that is also okay. And earth has been created so many times. We see it in see, it is like that. For us, the time is very small, just 70, 80 years that we live. For existence, it is billions of years. If you can see the time in billions of years, you would absolutely see differently. You would see that the body has no meaning. You would see that our thinking of good or bad has no meaning. Right now, we are thinking of good or bad because we are thinking in such a short span of time. That is why, because it impacts us right now. But if you can think that long, nothing will matter, right? That's why I always say that we have a very we do not have a far-fetched view. We have a very constricted view that we have. We have very little knowledge, and that is why it is. We don't have the complete knowledge. We can never have the complete knowledge. It is not a possibility.
Then help me by explaining. You have mentioned more than few times. Okay. I think next time we'll do it next time.
So let's put this question, or you can pose the question. I'll pose the answer. Komal, I need to go.
Yeah, sure. It's. I mean, I know the answers. It's just like we like talking to you and discussing with you.
No,
but I understand you have to go.
No, I'm very happy to talk, but I need to go now. So let's do it some other time. Okay.
Okay.
Chaliye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Sandeep ji. Namaste.
बिन्ना हाँ 5 मिनट दो 5 मिनट नहीं इसको लाता हूँ 5 मिनट तो हाँ टाइम लगेगा मैं चल जाना पड़ेगा